We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get 60 after Monday Night Raw?
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Saturday, September 27th. We're here to break down Friday Night SmackDown. I'm stoked about it. And we got a two-man crew here that goes all the way back to the beginning. I haven't seen him since last Sunday, but I got to see him pre-show. Let me introduce my co-host to you. He's the head of opinions and my ride or die co-host, whether it's sold separately or, we got something in the cannon for you here, guys. It's going to be good. We got an announcement coming up soon, but that's a secret. Let me introduce him, though. Anthony Ricciardi, all the way out in Philly. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Next Saturday starts for the hunt for Red October. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Obviously, SmackDown took place last night. So did TNA's Victory Road. I do want to say, obviously, we don't know what the circumstances are, but it is a real shame that Ash by Elegance was forced to relinquish her title and don't know what the future of her career is going to be. But she really found her own in TNA during this run. After the Dana Brooke run in WWE, the Ash character was really something that she was getting a lot of momentum behind. But let's get into the show and talk about SmackDown.
No doubt about it. I'm with you. And like you said, a monster shout out Ash by Elegance. She has absolutely turned a corner as far as her career is concerned. And I'm with you. We got a few comments out of the gates. We got good afternoon WR crew from Fernando Zayas. We've also got pretty solid SmackDown last night. I would agree. Let's get right into the first topic though here, Anthony, because I know it's one you're excited to talk about because you're from Philly, so anytime Paul Heyman's in the ring, that's exciting. But wait a minute. We also know
the other
you
thing in the background?
are a Cody guy.
Uh-huh.
How much fun was this? I'm just going to go to you out of the gates directly. Talk to me about how much you enjoyed the segment.
Because you have so many people to turn to at this moment when I'm the only other one here. No, it's really cool because you know in real life how much Cody respects Paul Heyman and how much Paul Heyman respects Cody and respected Cody's father from back in the day. So anytime they share a ring together, it's special. Adding the element of Brock and what is Paul Heyman's new, renewed relationship with Brock? How does that fit in with the Vision? Does it fit in with the Vision? Does anybody care that, Paul's moonlighting with Brock again from the Vision side? We don't know. I understand what they were doing. They're trying to build up to the crown jewel, champion versus champion, even though Seth wasn't there for the segment. I think it's smart because you want to promote crown jewel that's in a couple weeks. So it makes sense, for that monstrosity of a belt that's the Air and B&B championship that gets left there, but you get to take home a souvenir ring, whoever wins. So Cody's either going to get two or Seth's going home with one, and it's 1-1. We'll find out. Obviously, Cody is the only one going into this that has the potential of walking away with two rings. Everyone else, it's a first timer from the women's title side. And it's obviously Seth's first crack at this thing. So it should be interesting.
I couldn't agree more. I think also Seth Cody's really exciting. The champion versus champion thing just kills me. It used to be a Survivor Series thing. Now it's sort of a crown jewel thing. And it's like, it's just not my favorite concept. It's like the ring thing. Also, if Cody starts stacking crown jewel rings, it's a little bit of just tongue in cheek, a shot at MJF with the Dynamite Diamond ring.
He'd have to get five of those.
I know it's hysterical to me, though. I'm like,
No,
if he just starts collecting rings and goes full Tom Brady on us.
Well, here's the thing. Before they started doing it at Survivor Series, brand versus brand, or maybe it was in the midst of that. Remember, they were doing it at Night Champions at one time.
That's very true.
And Booker won
as well.
Booker won the triple threat with the world champion, WWE champion, and the ECW champion, if I remember, the champion of champions or whatever it was called.
Yes.
Booker walked away with it during his King Booker phase, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly in that timeline of events. Yeah, I get why they're doing it. Again, Saudi's paying a lot of money for this thing. They want grand. And if you're going to do it, champion against champion, I get it. Because it fits in this weird little scenario where under normal circumstances you need a story. Why are they doing this? But it fits of like, okay, this is set in stone. It doesn't matter who the champions are. The champions face each other. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I think certain gimmick pay-per-views I do. Like, as much as I love War Games, I like a concept behind it. Like the Survivor Series, the old school Survivor Series elimination match, which at some point, maybe on perhaps another show, you and I could talk about this when it gets closer. But to me, that was a mixed variety, and you really didn't need stories because there were the teams were supposed to be random, so you didn't know who you were partnering with. You could be partnered with somebody you hate, a fellow babyface, heel, doesn't matter. With War Games, you feel like, okay, well, they're getting the pieces to put in the match, not necessarily rivalries forcing it. So I'm a little, as much as I love War Games, as much as I would love to be able to see one live, it's one of those things where I'm like, I kind of wish it was more than that. Although, if you look at the origin of the War Games anyway, it started just to pretty much sell tickets. It was a match, and they were touring around with it pre-pay-per-view, pre-everything, but it is very cool that continues on. And I know that's a little side topic, but still.
No doubt about it. This one cracks me up that we got DCX Warlord here with Cody equals Brady. I agree, but when does he go to the Buccaneers? That's the question. At what stage does he truly turn babyface and go to the Bucs?
Well, I mean,
just to prove that he doesn't need Belichick. He doesn't need Triple H to succeed. When does he make that move?
Well, technically, didn't he already when he left the company and went to Ring of Honor and AEW and then came back to WWE? Isn't it like a reverse Brady?
No, that was Brady at Michigan. That was Brady at Michigan.
Oh, no. Well, Cody would be more like
what? Yeah, Drew Henson. Remember, Brady was a third stringer at Michigan.
So would it be more like LeBron, where he left to get a ring and then went back to Cleveland?
Goes back
is that where we're at now?
Yes. He's going to turn Cleveland into Believeland.
Yes.
No, that's a good call if we're going to do sports references like that. Okay, also, by the way, just because we were talking TNA earlier, Javion versus Leon is confirmed for Bound for Glory. Yeah, that's going to be bouncy.
I was literally going to bring that up when we got to the U.S. title part.
We'll get there, yes. But we already had the comment. So, yeah, that's why I just wanted to show it. Absolutely. And then War Games is supposed to be a construct to settle personal feuds. I love that.
Yes.
This tickles me. DCX Warlord is on fire today. Punk equals Gronk. Yes. He's back. He's gone. He's back. I'm not going to the Lions. He's Gronk. That is the perfect comparison. Oh my, is that outstanding? But let's keep it rolling on today's show. Let's talk about some tag team action here.
Yes.
Because this was funky to me.
Mm-hmm.
We spent all this time building up Melo can't miss, and then they missed. And I love the Street Profits, and I do think this is one of the best tag team divisions going when it comes to wrestling. We've often discussed this on this very program.
Yes.
But the Profits need to do something funky or unique or different or return to the Red Cups or do something impactful if this is going to become anything bigger than another number one contender's opportunity for the Street Profits, who I love. But something special has to happen here. A story needs to be told. Give me a bigger reason than just it's the Profits and they're that good. Give me a big reason and give me a why too. And I enjoyed the match last night. I'm sure you did as well. Mm-hmm. But what are your thoughts on kind of what I said there? And break down the whole thing for me.
Here's the thing with the Street Profits, and I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to anger a bunch of people. As much as I love the Street Profits, they've kind of done everything that they can do at this point. And at this point, I think Montez is being held back because I think he has a brighter future as a single star. I think Dawkins is, in a way, holding him back. I think the smart move is to break them up. Dawkins plays the heel. Montez is the babyface. And then you can kind of do that, and then somewhere down the line you do the reunion. I think that's the logical move with that, because what more could they possibly do at this point? We're going to send them to TNA and go for the TNA tag titles. You want to do that? That might be a fresh start for them. It's something different. It's unique. That you can go that route, because then you could even. I would like to see Montez in an Ultimate X match, because it's different, and he's athletic enough to make that work. And you're not getting an Ultimate X in WWE. At least I don't believe you are anytime soon. As far as Mello Camp Miz, they've been building towards this breakup. This is the new Theory and Waller. Will they, won't they? But it looks like this one's actually coming through. Mello needs that fresh start on the main roster. He really does. Because I personally don't think he has been the same Mello since he lost the NXT title. When he was him with the banners hanging of all the people he beat, once he lost that, I think he lost himself. Everyone goes, oh, it was how he was on the main roster. I'm like, it was before that. I really didn't feel the Trick feud either. I just didn't. He didn't come off, in my opinion, the way he was before. The confidence kind of went away. And, in this scenario on the main roster, Miz, the underrated MVP of getting people over, whether it's tag partners or who he's feuding with, if he can't get him to that next level in a feud with him, I don't know what you do with Mello. Mello's a tremendous talent, but there's only so much that the audience is willing to just go, okay, let's give him another chance. The wrestling audience turns over like a dime. If you're not a made guy, they don't exactly have that much sympathy. They're like, all right, we're done with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, he'd make a killing run in TNA for like an X Division type feud, stuff like that, or maybe even the world title. Like, to do something outside that, he could, because of the partnership. Maybe even AAA. Like, he needs something to reignite it. Miz might be able to do it.
Really, really interesting to me, because you brought up a lot of great points. And the more I'm thinking about it, Montez and Mello are in similar situations. I think we both think they can be electric baby faces in singles runs, which the worst part about it is we've been talking about how great the tag team division is over on SmackDown, and we're trying to break both teams up, essentially, right? And that's not the fault of yours or anybody's, right?
No.
Because both are logical. But I'm just like, if we're thinking existentially here, it is just an odd situation. We got a ton of comments too. And it's funny because, I agree with you on Montez and Dawkins splitting. Donnie DeSilva's here with the Mello turn isn't completed. It'll happen when Mello blasts Miz with a right hand and the crowd pops.
It's getting there.
Mello needs a baby face again. I'm with that too. And then we've also got Mello needs to go solo ASAP from Fernando Zayas. Montez should have won that Elimination Chamber match from DCX Warlord. We got a lot of agreement here. This one's interesting though, Fernando. And I love, I've heard this comparison before. Montez is the Booker T of the team. Dawkins is Stevie Ray. I do think there's one primary difference there, and that is the age difference between Stevie Ray and Booker T was massive, and it's not with Montez and Dawkins. And so that I is something I think that we need to note when it comes to that conversation. Wouldn't you agree with that, Ant?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, here's the thing. I know a lot of times with tag teams, people look at it and go, okay, who's the Shawn Michaels? Who's the Marty Jannetty?
Right.
Marty Jannetty was not a bad talent. Marty Jannetty got held back by his own personal stuff. I don't think Dawkins necessarily will have a bad career.
Same.
But if you're asking me who is the better prospect, it's Montez. It's the same thing if you look at the Hardy Boys. Both have had tremendous single success. But most people would go, Jeff is the gold chip talent and Matt's like right underneath him. Like, it happens with every team. There's no teams that are equal. Look at DX.
Right.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H, Hall of Famers. Two
totally
of the best ever.
Different, though.
Despite what Bret Hart says. But Shawn Michaels has always been the GOAT.
Right.
As successful as Hunter is, Hunter has more world titles than Shawn. But there's no question in that ring, Shawn was untouchable.
I think that's a great call. I think that's an absolutely great call. And I think this is another thing that's interesting, and it's super creative and out of left field, but I just wanted to throw it out there while we're on the subject. When it comes to Dawkins, if and when this Street Profit split happens, I think it'd be really cool because of his tag team history, and the idea of maybe them both going on singles runs is one thing, but like we mentioned, Jannetty, situations like that. What if Dawkins became like the ultimate tag team recruiter from NXT? Do you want to learn to be a tag team wrestler on the main roster? Come team with me, Angelo Dawkins, and you run through a few there and sustain the tag team division there until you can get to the reunion somehow. And it was like about both the whole time, right?
You know what I could see happening? They could go this route. You're breaking them up, and I know there's been a lot of comparison of Harlem Heat, like they said.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Dawkins goes heel, I think he needs a heel manager. I make BFAB be his Sherry Martel and have him be the heel. And then somewhere down the road, you could do Montez and Bianca against that team. Like, you could do stuff with that.
That's fun too. I like that as
granted,
well.
I know we just had the Punks against the Rollinses, but I still think it works. And then you can always have them on separate brands so that they do on their own. And then you could eventually do the reunion. DX did it back in the day. Obviously, Edge and Christian have done it. Hardys have done it. It's doable. It's not unsalvageable. So I think you do it. They did it during the original draft. They broke up Bubba and Devon and tried to do solo careers.
Right.
It did not work.
No.
What they do? They put them back together.
Yeah,
it's not unsalvageable, but you're not going to know unless you try to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, Donnie, with this comment here, he said Dawkins should be the face and Tez the heel. I think so too. And even on the recruiter thing, I probably delivered that poorly. I mean it more like the mentor type role. Like, hey, you want to learn to tag team wrestle on the main roster? You know my resume. Come team with me, and maybe sort of bring some people that have been more like in the weeds, in the woods when it comes to booking type stuff in and tag with them. I wouldn't hate that for Dawkins coming out of a Tez turn and a Tez rivalry. Also, Fernando added sensational. BFAB is an excellent idea. I'm with that.
Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea especially if Dawkins is the heel. I'm only thinking Dawkins is the heel only because Tez is so good and people love him. And they sort of have teased Dawkins a little bit, possibly issues. It wouldn't be a bad idea to see Mello or Trick or somebody with Dawkins and BFAB and have like a stable type deal.
Thinking, I mean, you could do a number of different talents in that spot. Like, I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If looking at NXT, even if you wanted to call up like trying to think of off the top of my head, Wesley and Dawkins, there's a good one there.
Dawkins needs something,
or
Wesley needs something, yeah.
Wesley would be outstanding. I mean, there's other great names that you can include. I mean, heck, like even if you did like a Charlie Dempsey, that would be wild, or like a Tony D, somebody that's just been off television for a long time. Like, I just think it's a possibility.
Honestly, I know well, I'll wait till we get to the US title thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, we'll get there eventually. Javon Evans, what you're going to say, right?
No. Something else that you mentioned.
Okay. Well, let's move on to one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
Although I thought it was a bit funky. The microphone passing was fun at first, but a bit awkward. I always love my guy, Jacob Fatu, rocking the Ronnie Lott. Are you kidding me? With his last name, I'm sorry, on the front of the jersey. That just cracks me up. It's Oakland forever, no doubt. Shout out Marshawn Lynch. It's all gas, no brakes with it. Yada the main. That was the point of the segment, and I love that. There's something about McIntyre right now that I can't figure out. He's unbelievable every single time I hear him interviewed anywhere. Shout out Huge Pop. Shout out Donnie DeSilva. He's on a roll with this. I'm getting robbed. It's not fair thing and all of that. And then we put him opposite Jacob Fatu for what? Are we making Fatu? Or are we burying Fatu with McIntyre there? I love the idea of these two locking up, but I cannot figure out why now. And Ant, that's the question I'm going to ask you, man. Why now?
I think it's a solid feud. I don't know where it's going. Like, if pay-per-view wise, I don't know if this is a placeholder for both. Obviously, both of them need something. Nobody wants to see Jacob continuing the feud essentially with whatever Solo's group is at this point. It still exists for whatever reason. Jacob against Drew, I'm interested. That's a match you could put on a poster that you don't necessarily need to know a story, but if two people see that, you're like, I'm not exactly sure who they are, but that looks like it could be a good match. Like, it just they have that appearance. To me, the best part of this segment was Drew delivering the Glasgow kiss, and it barely phased Jacob. Like, that moment reminded me that's something that Haku would do, where it just didn't sell it. Like, he thought it was like, the camera work was great because he hit it. His head turned to the side. He smirked to the camera like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun." Like, Jacob's a beast. He really is. Of matches, it's Jacob against Braun Breaker and Jacob against Brock at some point. Those are the dream matches for me, for Jacob at this point. Drew's up there. Give us the Drew one now. I don't care, because I don't know who Jacob's going to face at Mania, but it could get very interesting, considering the monsters that they have right now in that company they can work with.
I mean, dude, like you said, Jacob put the kiss in Glasgow Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he sold it as if he was kissed and not headbutted.
Yes.
And no one's ever done that. No one's ever done that. And it wasn't even a smirk. It was one of those, like, the mean with the teeth and everything. It was as Haku as it was Marshawn Lynch. That was beast mode. He was mad, big mad, as the kids are saying these days. And the super kick was nothing short of delightful. Everything about it I loved. Donnie, I actually really appreciate this comment because I couldn't agree more. This is a good point. Drew is bulletproof and can elevate Jacob. Yes, he can. My fear is that isn't going to be the case here. My fear is that this ends in a Jacob Fatu loss to Drew McIntyre. I don't know exactly where we go from there.
Here's the weird part, though. I agree Drew is untouchable. As far as, like, he's already cemented his legacy. He could do no wrong. He could eat a loss. Doesn't matter. Same like Randy Orton. I think Jacob is so unique wild card, and the fans have gravitated to him. I don't think it's a situation like LA Knight where he can lose momentum. I think Jacob could take the loss, and it really won't matter because if Drew beats him, it's not going to be clean. Right. There's no way. There's going to be shenanigans. Drew's the heel.
Shenanigans.
You know what I mean? Like, whether Solo's group interferes, somebody's going to interfere. It's not going to be clean if Drew beats him. And like I said, both of them are fine coming out. I don't think either one's going to really lose anything if they lose to the other. I really don't.
It's a good point. The other thing that I did like about Fatu in the stare down with Drew is the size difference was obvious. Obviously, Drew's the bigger man.
Mm-hmm. Drew's like 6'6", isn't he?
By height, but by weight, the way that Fatu entered that stare down was pretty dang excellent. And then Donnie here with, it's either going to be decisive Fatu win this program, or it'll be a thing where the program is inconclusive until they both spin off to something else. I think that's very fair. Too. And we usually aren't always that fair here. But speaking of things that are unfair, let's talk about how unfairly good Barista coffee is. Barista is small batch organic coffee created through excellence, authenticity, and unforgettable moments. Head over to barista.com, check it out, get your orders in and stuff. We'll have a discount code here for you shortly, but order them anyway before full price. And the next time we'll give you the code. You're going to love it. There's all kinds of great stuff on there too. Merch, if you like hats and whatnot, it's a sweet logo. And if you like coffee, I assure you'll love it. It's the freshest in the game. But speaking of the freshest in the game, let's talk about a absolute youngster here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Javon Evans and his U.S. title shot. So this guy doesn't stop wrestling.
No.
That's what I've learned recently of late about this fellow in particular. Javon Evans is not only bouncy, he's bouncing around to wherever. He's going to wrestle Leon Slater. He's going to wrestle for the U.S. title. He's going to wrestle on NXT. It doesn't matter. You name the time and place, Javon Evans is there. This kid is going to the moon someday, and I just don't know when. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody this young, this talented, in this game. The guy, you got to give him credit, understands what he's doing, and he's learning on the fly. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen as a 20-plus year fan of professional wrestling, man. And I think it's awesome. I want to know your thoughts on how it went down last night and all of the above when it comes to Javon, because we discussed even the TNA action earlier, and nobody knows more about TNA than you, Ant. No doubt about it.
Yeah, Javon is such a unique talent. When you talk about diamonds in the rough in this business, like, that's a diamond in the rough that WWE found there. And for him to be learning under arguably the GOAT in Shawn Michaels, sky's the limit for this kid. Like, he has the talent. I've seen him wrestle live a number of times. There's a lot there. There's a lot in that talent. You know, I want to say I love that Sami Zayn is continuing the U.S. title open challenge, because history shows Sami made his main roster debut answering John Cena's U.S. Open challenge. So for him to be able to do that and give Javon that moment, that U.S. title shot, and he made Javon look good even in defeat, that shows you how good Sami is, how good Javon is. Obviously, Javon was not there for Victory Road last night, but they made the announcement that at Bound for Glory, TNA's biggest show of the year, Leon Slater, another diamond in the rough talent, is going to face Javon in an arguable dream match that no one would have predicted. No one would have predicted Javon Evans would be battling for the X Division title while under a WWE contract. You know, that's going to be another dream match. But the match last night, I thought it was an excellent match. I thought it elevated Javon. And I love Sami during this U.S. title open challenge run. I think he's going to do very well. I do think that I would not be opposed to this because he doesn't know who he's going to face in any of this. And you would assume he'd lose to whoever in an open challenge, I would assume, as opposed to a rivalry. There is somebody that you mentioned earlier that has been MIA for quite a while, and that would be Tony D. I think that would be a logical move to do that. And Sami can go off and, you know, eventually win the Rumble and possibly go for a world title at Mania. You know, I still think he's the front runner in the Rumble this year.
Would absolutely love Tony D. That is, the only camera cut because that made me so excited. Tony D as debuting United States champion would be off the charts. And it's got to be full tracksuit, and then we figure out a way for him to try to have a family or something.
Well, wait a minute. They are supposed to be doing a pay-per-view in Italy next year, are they not? You know he's going to be featured in some prominent fashion.
Just saying.
They're not bringing Vinci back, so Tony T would be the choice.
It's not looking good for Giovanni Vinci at this stage. There's really no doubt about that. I mean, at the end of the day, also we've got this comment here from DCX Warlord of a perfect example of getting over without going over, and that was your point earlier, 100%. Donnie added, Javon is making huge strides, but he's still not ready to be a main roster feature. He's close though. I agree. Yes. But it's razor thin. He's approaching it at a speed. It's almost making me uncomfortable about it. Right? Like, I did think he could improve. And here's the gnarly part. Outside of maybe the RKO spot with Randy Orton in the one match, right? Which was a gift. He worked Randy Orton at what, 20 years old? Stop it. Yeah, Randy had to buy the beers after the match.
A current prodigy fought the original one of the OG prodigies.
Exactly. But outside of that, I didn't know how much he had to improve other than just sort of find his stride, right? Yeah. Like he said, making huge strides, like other than just sort of find his rhythm. he sort of was one of those people that just got it, right? Like famously, like a natural talent, like it just came easy almost.
Here's one of the big problems in wrestling as a whole. There is only a finite number of spots.
Right.
And in wrestling, we are in this very unique bubble period where there is this amazing talent, but not all of them could be there. Like, I don't want Javon to go to the main roster if there's not a legitimate spot and a story for him.
We just talked about Carmelo Hayes.
We saw what happened with Melo. You put him on the main roster because everyone, well, you got to put him on the main roster. You got to put him on the main roster. And then he didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened. You look at Braun Breaker. He was in NXT for a very long time.
By the way, is that rumor, and I don't want to shout out any dirt sheets or anything, is that rumor true that they're dropping the Breaker off Braun? Are they trying
I haven't heard that.
I'd be all over Braun Steiner. I believe actually that was a tweet I saw, so don't.
No, I mean, listen, I think he should embrace the Steiner one. I
love Braun Steiner.
I personally think he should do the Braun Steiner.
Or even Braun Steiner, but that's too much.
If he goes with Paul Heyman, if they break him off of the Vision and Paul Heyman turns on them and picks Breaker as his guy, that's when I think he should do the Steiner. When they're ready to really to the moon with him, that's when he should be Steiner.
Ooh, and to your point, have Heyman announce it. This is not Braun, what you used to call him. This is Braun Steiner. Boom. Donnie De Silva, one more comment. It's the stuff aside from the moves he needs to work on. His selling is improved now. He has to work on making us care about him. Yeah, I'm with that. And then, but everyone says Melo did nothing on SmackDown, but that's not true. Last year, and Melo told me this, was all about building name equity. He's on TV every week. Hey, no, that is a very good point, Donnie. We're not taking that away. I'm just saying, I based on his NXT run. So let me backpedal here for a second, and not just because I'm like, but to be clear on my thoughts on the Melo run is, I thought he was so good on NXT. Maybe my own personal expectations were too high. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that's why it's viewed as more of a mediocre run than it would be otherwise. And I mean no offense by that, because I think Melo's an immense talent.
No, so do I. I think it's one of those situations where it was a lot of start, stop.
Right.
He had the best of 7 series. He won the Andre, which again, the Andre has not really meant anything, but like he had the Andre chain. I don't know why they dropped that, why he stopped wearing it. Like I felt like they were going in that direction of like, oh wait, they're actually going to do something with him now on the main roster. Hopefully this Miz thing does. Hopefully this Miz feud elevates him to a point where you can kind of do stuff with him. He would be an ideal person to take the U.S. title if you wanted to go that route. So there's a lot of options for Melo. The talent is there. It's just a matter of booking him.
By the way, Donnie, no height shaming here. 5'7", he's got to be 5'9". He's got to be 5'9". Give him more credit than that. All right, let's move on to our main event of the evening. The main event of the evening. Let's talk about Tiffany Stratton retaining the women's world title in this.
Yeah.
This was so fun for so long. It was such a fun match for so long. And then why didn't Nia Jax kick out? Why didn't she kick out? Nia, why? I love you so much, Nia Jax. You're on the run of your career, but why didn't you kick out? Was that supposed to be the finish? The Boss Man Slam was perfect. Even Jade, the way that she went for the pin, I like going for her signature sit on you pin. And then the kick out, and then there's the drop kick. But then she, Anthony, why didn't she kick out? Explain it to me.
Oh, I can't explain that. Let's be real. I had to cover a 6-second match a few weeks ago. At this point, that's 6 seconds of my life that, they could have deducted from this match to avoid that situation. It annoyed the heck out of me. It really did. It's one of those things that like I would expect to see in a younger company. WWE, my understanding is, and I've heard different referees talk about it. They were always instructed that if a talent forgets to kick out, do not worry about it. You count the 3. You make it look legit. You don't hesitate. I hated that because if that Tiffany is going to pin Nia anyway. She's going to win the match. Why stop the count? If Nia forgot to kick out, it doesn't matter. You just buy more. It's not like the match went that much longer after the moment. It ruined the match because it was so evident. And she's like, wait, am I supposed to kick out now? Like, that is so. Nia's too good to make that gigantic of a mistake. Like, how do you do that? Like, to me, it falls more on Nia and the ref. The ref should have did the 3. You know, Tiffany's going over anyway, and she's beating Nia. What do you care whether or not that's the finish or not? Just count the 3. If she forgot to kick out, she forgot to kick out. To me, that's what you do in that situation. I could be wrong, but my understanding is they were always told, at least during the Vince years, treat it like a real thing. If they don't kick out, if they ignore your rules, treat it like a legitimate sport, and you count. Oh, they didn't get in the ring in 10 seconds? Count out. Oh, they didn't kick out? 3 count. Like, it was bad. Because honestly, and I've said this before, and I know Shad hates this, I am not a huge fan of the Tiff run. I really don't. I know they're trying to push her, but like Jade took a bust on the head. She's fighting it out there. I give the belt to Jade at this point. The Tiffany run, like, it's the reason it doesn't work is because she's a natural heel. You were trying to force her to be a face. It's not believable. It's not relatable. She is supposed to be the blonde in high school that everyone hates because she's the stuck-up princess that no one likes. Daddy buys her everything. She's
the mean girl.
She's the mean girl.
Regina George.
That's what she's supposed to be. But no, you're trying to make her a babyface. It's not believable. Stop trying to force a square peg into a round hole. It's not logical. Nia was on the run of her career. You finally thought she was out of the infamous moment on the apron. You thought she was done with that. That has now been replaced with, I'm supposed to kick out now?
This is where it's so interesting, though. Donnie says it's on the referee. That's not Nia's fault. It was supposed to be broken up.
It's on both.
It wasn't. Nia had no idea the breakup wasn't coming. All blame on Daphne. Unfortunately, he said you could see Nia talk to Daphne. She should have counted 3.
Correct.
Yes.
It's on both of them. Nia should have kicked out knowing that it wasn't the finish. And the ref should have counted the 3 if Nia didn't do it.
I think she thought it might have been the finish. That is such a one.
You can make that argument.
Because I also don't want to blame Nia. Regardless. I don't want to blame Nia, but it's like, it sucks. You know what sucks about it is it was a really good triple threat match. Until then. When
you look at it, Tiffany's had a pretty decent run beating former champs and all that other stuff. You know, you're in there with the 2 Queens of the Ring in 24 and 25. It's an ideal match. They've all been intertwined in feuds over the years. It should have been a phenomenal match, but only thing that everybody's going to remember is the ref didn't count 3 when she should have, and that Nia didn't kick out. The ref hesitating, like, don't. Like, that's, I don't know how you don't count the 3. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's a brutal way to end what could have been a really fun.
Yeah, if you're asking me,
a fun match,
who's more at fault on that? It's probably 70-30 the ref.
Yeah.
Or maybe 80-20. Like, not Nia is good enough to go, oh wait, she didn't do it. Why did you ask? Just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you asked. The camera's right there.
That was the brutal part too.
Yes.
Like, did I mess up? It's like, that's not what was said, but that's like that's how it came across.
No, well, I think that's what it was said. Was that supposed to be? Was I supposed to kick and then she did it? So like, that's why I put 20 on her. But the 80 is definitely on the ref in that situation.
I'm with you there. Yeah. I mean, this is hilarious. Tiffany's first theme was actually Daddy's Little Rich Girl from DCX Warlord. Yeah.
I didn't even remember that, but I kind of went with it.
I think that's a character that needs to be utilized on the main roster because I think that's where Tiffy's at her finest.
She's a natural.
But I'll also say this, and that is going to bring us to basically the end of today's show. If you don't have plans later tonight, we're going to do a No Mercy breakdown of the show on Off the Air. So tune right back in. That's going to be a blast. Me and Ant in particular have a big old announcement coming for you soon that you're going to be really excited about. And I'm not going to tell you anything today, so you're just going to have to sit on it and be patient. But thank you so much, everybody that tuned in. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy all the awesome wrestling the rest of the weekend. On behalf of me, Anthony Ricciardi, everybody at WR, we're going to talk to you soon. Tomorrow we'll be back same time, same place. Of course, that's noon Pacific. That's 3 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 8 o'clock in the UK and 9 a.m. for my good friends in Hawaii. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.